This is the Bottom Line Sports Show with Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Imagine you trade a Chet Holmgren for a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
These guys are athletic as you know what, and you go like, oh my gosh, where's the fundamentals? Where's the pass first mentality? That's not in the league anymore.
And now here's your host, Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Yes, indeed. What's going on? Gerald Brown back in the house. The big fella, Rick Mahorn. I'm flying solo, but again, we got the young fellas hanging out here on the Bottom Line Sports Show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to the channel. As always, follow me on Instagram, G Brown Sports, as well as on X, Original Gerald Brown. Got a little family affair that's going on, hanging out with me today. I got Noah Brown, and I got his friend Edward. Edward is hanging out with us. We're going to get into some conversation about the NBA. Probably going to talk a little football, but mostly the NBA, and we're going to get these guys' picks on the college Final Four. Okay, guys, Noah, Eddie, great to have you guys hanging out with me this evening.
What up?
And,
What's up?
You know, you talked about something in terms of the NBA and really just the whole landscape of contenders and pretenders. I'll ask you guys some questions, and I want you guys to give me your feedback. One of the things I'll ask you right off the bat, the team that is the scariest in the East right now, because we only got a handful of games left in the season. And now it's funny time. And the biggest thing about it, before you answer, is the fact is that the precursor for the NBA playoffs for me has always been the NCAA tournament. And when the Final Four and the championship game, you know that right around the corner, the NBA play-in tournament and the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Noah, I'll start off with you. Give me your scariest team or teams in the Eastern Conference right now with the playoffs right around the corner.
I hate to say, I'm a big Laker fan, but honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to Boston. I think Boston's gonna really make some noise in the playoffs. Jason Tatum just came back and he's already putting up stats, and he's the player of the week, or the player of the month, excuse me. And I think honestly, Joe Mazzulla should also get Coach of the Year. They've made it work. It was supposed to be a rough season for them. I had them low, but
I like that.
They turned it around. They've been making noise. Jaylen Brown's been doing his thing. MVP candidate as well, but I don't think he's going to win the MVP.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. You said Joe Mazzulla should be the Coach of the Year.
Absolutely.
Over
I think he has it.
Staff and what he has been able to do again with that team that encountered a severe injury to Cade Cunningham. Isaiah Stewart has been out, but I just had to hear that correctly, and then I want you to finish your thought, and then we go on to Eddie.
Listen, if either one of those two get the Coach of the Year award, I wouldn't be upset. But honestly, I think those are two strong arguments for Coach of the Year candidates
in the East. Okay, the Coach of the Year. When we get to the Coach of the Year, I don't even want to go to the Coach of the Year. I want to get into obviously the scariest team in the East. You say the Boston Celtics.
Celtics and one more team, a dark horse. Before I give you this, Eddie, you know what I'm going to say? The Charlotte Hornets. Oh, my goodness.
Man. You're terrible.
I love Charlotte right now. They're doing their thing.
Them young fellas not ready. They not ready.
Call Knipple, man.
Okay. Eddie, scariest teams in the East. He's mentioned Celtics. You perked up and smiled when he said the Celtics. Why the Celtics, Eddie?
By far, the scariest team in the East is definitely us, the Celtics. We get after it defensively. We put up points. We shoot a lot of threes. We get up a lot of shots. Our guards are really good. We got Tatum back. He's looking good. We got Brown playing very good. We're playing this well without Vucevic as well. When Vucevic come back from injury, that's another addition. You know what I mean? And the young boy Quetta is playing really good at center. So us by far, but I'm gonna give you two more teams. The Knicks are really good this year if they can figure out a few things. And the Cavaliers as well, with picking up James Harden was a really good addition to the team, I feel like. And they just got Max Strus back from injury. So those are the three teams, but Boston by far the scariest team in the East.
I
Yeah,
felt like they was in playoff form against the Lakers the other night.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
about the Cavs. They got
yeah.
smacked on.
I'm gonna have to say Boston, right? And the only reason why I say Boston, and look, the Detroit Pistons, I think the biggest thing is that Cade Cunningham is out. You know, obviously we don't know how much longer he's going to be out, and when he comes back,
Mm-hmm.
how much help, how healthy will he be along with Isaiah Stewart? Boston, if you will, there's a silver lining for this team. Nobody really, really expected a lot from this team. I kind of thought that they might be a 5 or 6 seed,
Right.
but Jaylen Brown gives him some MVP love.
For
Jaylen
sure.
Brown has really, really played well. And then the interesting thing about this team, yes, on paper, adding Jason Tatum is a huge, huge hit. And having 20 games, we had on the show a few weeks back, we had Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. And Cornbread, shout out to Brad. Brad said he needs about 20 games to really get himself acclimated, get himself going. But what has been really impressive about this team is that the core of their guys, from Al Horford, gone. You get
Yeah.
rid of Porzingis, gone. They made the changes necessary, but it just really shows the fact is their sort of pedigree and being a team that's been there, done that, won
Yes,
championship,
exactly. That's another thing. Yep.
they don't panic. And all that they have done as a veteran-laden team is manage the season and look, slowly but surely, they're right here. I
They're
think that
also developing the young guys too as well.
Yeah.
developing their guys,
Yeah.
and that's key when you're paying a lot of max contracts and
For
making sure
sure.
that you're able to get guys there to be able to do that. So I'm gonna say that scariest team in the East, and Detroit is there. I'm gonna have
Detroit just can't shoot a three ball for nothing. Even with Cade, they can't knock threes down.
And if it lasts
That's
long,
gonna
that's going to be
hurt
a
them.
tough injury. It's a
Gonna
lot of
hurt
women
them.
on that basketball. 90,
Mm-hmm.
93, 94 feet. It's going to be tough
yeah.
coming back out there.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Experience is the best teacher, and the reason
For
why I say
sure.
that with Detroit is similar, just like what I said about the Boston Celtics. Detroit has been there, done that. Think about this: they took that New York Knicks team to pretty much
7.
7 games. A team, that Knicks team that took the loss in 6 games to the Indiana Pacers, who ended up going to the NBA Finals.
Right.
You're going to learn from that. They didn't have an Isaiah Stewart. This is a young team that is growing right before our eyes. And the biggest thing is, it's an old cliche and an old analogy. You got to crawl before you can walk. That's what the Pistons have done this year. The expectations came out and they lived up to the expectations and exceeded the expectations in terms of before the injury, leading the Eastern Conference in wins. It says a lot. And I think clearly when the playoffs come around, they are going to be a very, very dangerous team. But it goes back and starts with the Boston Celtics and stuff.
Yeah.
And, Charlotte, I think it's a feel-good story, right? Nobody
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about them.
story. And here's the biggest thing. If you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, you're just happy that they're having relevant basketball
Yeah,
games
exactly.
top of the year.
That's
I think,
that's what,
go ahead, Edward. Go ahead,
that's
Eddie.
what I'm trying to tell Noah. I've been telling Noah this. We talk about basketball all the time. He's been stressing the Hornets for a while now. I've been telling him this. Just like you said, they have no experience. They have not been here in a while. They just happy to be winning games at this point.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing is, you're going to look at a team and you're going to say, oh, my God, if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, hey, you know what? We're not looking at the NBA draft and saying, wait till next year. We got an opportunity.
Well,
to
I have
really
a question for both of you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
basketball.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have a question for both of you guys. When OKC just took that title, a lot of people were saying the same thing you guys was just saying, that they don't have a lot of experience, that they'll never make it that far.
Yeah, but they had an identity
Yes.
They definitely
and the
did.
MVP and
They
Yeah.
definitely
Shaq.
did. They
And, and
definitely did.
And the biggest thing is, let's not forget, when they got past, remember the year they lost to Dallas 2 years ago. So they were on the doorstep, right? There's
Yeah,
levels
yeah.
to this where you have to be in a sense, crawl before you can walk. Go back and look at some of your great championship contending teams and championship teams. Go back for the Pistons. They had to go through some setbacks against the Celtics. You go back and look at the Bulls. They had struggles against the Pistons when they finally broke through. So it's not like you can just all of a sudden come out of the blue and say, bam, look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Look at the
Yeah,
struggles that they have
yeah.
had. Back-to-back Western Conference Finals. So it's a process. And I think right now, as we speak, they're in the Charlotte Hornets are in the 10th seed, right? The future is bright. I think the biggest thing has always been for this team, aside from having talent and developing their talent, is being able to stay healthy. And that starts with LaMelo Ball. He has been able to be healthy this
Absolutely.
season, and that has helped the development of Brandon Miller, and like you
Yeah.
talk about, Con Knipple.
And their
So
bench, don't forget about their bench. That young
They
boy,
just they just
Kalkbrenner.
got they just got
Kalkbrenner is
Kobe.
he's a good, solid big man.
yes, they
And then they
do.
got the playoff experience with Grant Williams, championship DNA.
Yeah,
I,
but
I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't say that I wouldn't get carried away and say they go all the way to the finals. But I do see an upside coming around where teams coming in coasting, thinking that it's gonna be a cakewalk, it's gonna be a free sweep, and,
So
and
do you
Charlotte
so do
takes
you
some games out.
so
Then
do
you
you
got
think
Kobe
if
White
they
coming off the bench too. That was a great pickup too, by the way.
you think if they could get past the play in and win the eighth seed and play Detroit potentially in the first round, you think they'll give Detroit some problems?
Absolutely, especially if Kane's not coming back 100%. Why
That's
not?
that's an interesting matchup though. I can't lie. That's an interesting
no,
matchup.
I think you know what? If they go 6 games against in their first round and they win like 2 games, you could say that that's been a hell of a season for
A
them.
hell of a season, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I
And
don't
Yes.
that
see
and
them
that's
getting.
and that's more of my point too. I feel like Charlotte really doesn't have anything to lose. So if they're
Yeah,
going out there,
but
it'll
you
be a
can't.
festival.
You no, you fine. You can't overlook experience. Being in those pressure situations. Think about it this way. Look at the Detroit Pistons last year in that playoff series against the Knicks, and look at some of those crucial moments where again, especially to extend the series and keep their season alive, where you had the hiccup and stuff, and there were certain plays and stuff like that, especially with them playing at home, the mistakes that were there. Veteran teams, or better yet, experienced teams that have been there, done that, you very rarely see those type of mistakes. I'll give you another example. Go back, Eddie. This is for you. Remember when the Boston Celtics got down 0-3 to the Miami Heat and that Jimmy Butler team and stuff, and how
Yeah.
they fought all the way back to force a game 7, even though they lost. Those teams that have experience and go through that really propels you and sets you up moving forward. So the
Yeah.
biggest thing is that Charlotte is going to be a very, very exciting team. And I think the biggest thing is that you know what? It means a lot for them to be able to say, hey, look, let's in the playoffs. But if they're able to elevate themselves out of the play-in tournament, I think that is a win-win situation. And I think as we look right now, currently, they're in that 10th seed. So, they're a game, or I think they're about 2 games in the win column. They're 2 games behind maybe Toronto, or even I dare
No,
to
I
say
think Toronto. I think Toronto's the fifth seed. If I'm not
Toronto's the 6th seed.
sixth seed. Yeah.
Toronto's the 6th seed. So, can they catch? They're really like 1 game behind the Orlando Magic. So they have an opportunity to elevate themselves up out of that play-in tournament, and that would be a key for them. So we talked about the scariest team in the East. I'll start with you, Eddie. The scariest team in the West.
By far, San Antonio Spurs, man. San Antonio Spurs. I
Tell me,
actually, I'm gonna give you this. This is a bonus. I got the Spurs winning the championship this year. That's how
I
far I'm
agree.
gonna go. I got the Spurs
I
winning the
agree.
championship. They
I
got
agree.
Wemby. They got my boy Castle. The guards are figuring it out how to throw the lob to Wemby. They playing really good ball, man. Really good ball. They're by far the scariest team in the West.
I agree.
Noah.
I agree. I mean, San Antonio, they're basically running four swings, and they have Victor Wembanyama to just protect the paint. So it's just like the defense is incredible, and then on offense, I feel like the biggest problem about 2, 3 years ago with San Antonio were guys wasn't feeding Wembanyama the ball. They weren't giving it to him in his spots where he wanted it, and they were being selfish. They had Jeremy Sohan running point. It was a mess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I feel like everything is starting to mesh together. Now they got a lot of athletic guards, big guards that can play both sides of the ball. They're very tough. Very tough. I'm a big Lakers fan, but I can't deny. I think the San Antonio Spurs can go all the way because realistically, I think in the West that's the only team that can stop OKC right now.
Mm. I'm going to say this. Don't count out Denver. Definitely don't count out OKC. When I look at the scariest team in the West, I've said this from the beginning of the season, and I'm going to say it. I said it at the midway point. I'm going to say it now. It's all about matchups, right?
Right.
It's all going to come down to matchups, who comes out of that Western Conference. I can't say 1,000%, oh, it's OKC, because that's like you alluded to, Noah. If OKC matches up with San Antonio, I think they would get past San Antonio because of
Really?
experience, but it's not going to be a cakewalk for them. And then it becomes a situation now where OKC, maybe Denver, Minnesota's going to have something to say about. Look at the Lakers. They're going to have something to say about exactly who comes out that Western Conference. I really don't know. Look, it's a heck of a jump to look at a guy and what Victor Wembanyama has done. But I agree with you guys. Look, they're young, and Wembanyama has taken that next step. You talked about with Jeremy Sohan and the struggles. Think about this. He's put on more weight, or better yet, he's gotten even more comfortable in his role with his team. And
Exactly.
it's just been really, really dominant. When I look at what he's been doing, it's really scary. And he's only scratching the surface of what potentially he's going to develop into.
Exactly. I was looking at his highlights too from like 2 years ago, like his rookie season. Even his jump shot, it looks more fluid, and his shot selection and everything. Like you can tell, like
Sure.
he's really becoming a true NBA superstar.
Yeah,
Mm.
last
But
night
I agree
the
with you
other
saying also. I don't think that the Spurs are guaranteed to win it all because you're definitely right. If OKC matches up with the Spurs, and let's say the Spurs get past OKC, we don't know how they're gonna go against and match up well against the Denver Nuggets
Yeah.
because everybody got better. And then also we can't forget about Minnesota. I love their pickups and how they've been looking without Anthony Edwards. Don
But
Sumo's been looking really, really nice on that Minnesota team. So it's just like
yeah,
we just gonna have to see how it's gonna go.
I look at Minnesota and I say a couple of things that I've said. Yes, Julius Randle is going to be, he could be a problem in certain matchups, but I just feel that obviously they did a lot of the stuff that they did for financial reasons. But I still believe that, you know what, if they would have been able to keep Karl Anthony Towns and that sort of crew together with
Right.
Towns and Gorbert and really had those guys to go along with Anthony Edwards, I think they broke them up a little too soon because keep in mind, they went to 2 years, two consecutive Western Conference finals. I really believe that that second year with Karl Anthony Towns and his perimeter opportunities, his perimeter scoring opportunities and stuff, I really had them, not the Dallas Mavericks, or better yet, the team coming out of the Western Conference. I thought that they were that close to really taking that next step,
I
and
agree.
fortunately, I made that trade. Go ahead, Eddie. I know you was wanting to say something, add in to some of the teams in it.
Now I just wanted to say, Wemby, he's starting to grow into that role they want him to grow into. You can see it the other night, that performance he had, even the pump fake, the step back three at 7-4. It's just the way he protects the rim. He's an anchor, defensive anchor. So he's grown into that. He's filling the shoes that they want him to fill. That's just
Yeah.
all I want to say.
Imagine when he starts to get that ball in the block and being able to
Yeah.
just be
He
able
gets
to
stronger. Yeah,
get stronger. He's going
But
to
it's
do
like,
that.
do we really want him to really get stronger?
absolutely,
Because that
absolutely.
might mess up his shot. We see what happened to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He
Giannis
posted
Well,
never
up
had a
and then
shot.
now
Giannis never had a shot.
are you
Not like Wemby.
serious?
Not like Wemby.
Are we gonna
Not
sit
like
here and
Wemby.
say that he didn't have a shot?
he didn't
Hell
have a
no.
shot like that, and
He
and
didn't
and
have a shot like Wemby, but he had a solid jumper. He was a
he
solid
had
No.
a
jumper.
solid jump shot. He just hasn't taken that next step in the progression, and that's unfortunate. But you talk about the Spurs, and I'll throw this thing out to you guys. What if they get Giannis Antetokounmpo next year, and
Forget about it.
you trade? Let's say you have to trade let's say Stephon Castle and maybe Dylan Harper,
That's
or you
a
have to
that's
trade
a
one of those guys. Imagine, just imagine De'Aaron Fox and De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, and Giannis. Eddie, how scary is that team on paper?
That team is really scary. You said it. You said it before I said it. I mean, I'm cool. If I'm the Spurs, I'm cool with giving up Harper or Castle because I have Fox. Champagne has been playing really well, and they still have Devin Vassell. They have a lot of good guards on that team. I mean, whichever way it goes, I think it'll work out. If you add Giannis, he's also a playmaker. Not only does he get downhill and scores in the paint, he's going to get the ball to Wemby as well. So they'll just be very dominant, I feel like. And then you give them another good guard that can shoot and defend and pass. It'll be
Mm.
scary. It'll be scary.
Noah, you add Giannis, Wemby, Fox, Vassell, other pieces that they have. Does that West become the San Antonio Spurs?
I think he would look better in the Laker jersey personally.
Oh no!
I knew he
No,
was going to do it.
no,
I knew he
no,
was
Like
going to do
no.
it.
Yanni,
honestly,
don't go to the LA. Yanni, no, 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 no.
but no, all jokes aside, there'll definitely be a threat. But you know, the best ability is availability. So it might not work out if Giannis is over there and he has the same type of season that he had this year, where he's just on and off the court. So
Mm.
I'm
Guys,
not sure.
yeah. So switch gears. We talked about obviously the scariest team. Well, let's talk about the pretenders in the East. Pretenders in the East are, I'll start with you, Noah.
The New York Knicks.
Ooh.
Go New York! Yeah,
Oh my God.
I honestly think that something is just not clicking with the Knicks. Carl Anthony Towns, he's in his what second or third year, and oh, Eddie said that man is
that
better
guy's a
than Joel
bum.
Embiid. By the way,
Oh
That
no, don't
guy's a
say
he
bum.
that.
said he's better than Joel Embiid.
I got you in over Embiid.
You got
Absolutely.
Patrick Ewing over Embiid.
Absolutely.
Oh wow,
I
oh
got you
wow,
in
I
over
can't believe you
Embiid.
guys.
You in a bum too though. But
No, no, no. I
that's
can't.
another
That's
topic. We talk
family.
about
That's
that another
family. I
time.
can't say that. That's family. That's fam dude. That's family right there. But
We
you
talk
said
about that
So
the
another
Knicks.
time.
You
yeah,
said
I mean, honestly, I think the Knicks are definitely they're out of sync. Carl Anthony Towns is going out to the media saying that he doesn't know his role anymore with the Knicks and he's trying to find his role. It's too late for stuff to say. Like you say stuff like that in your first year, your first season with a new team, but
was
by
second.
now everything's supposed to be clicking and getting together. They didn't get the job done last year against Indiana. This year was supposed to be the year, especially with Boston out. They were supposed to really dominate, and Indiana was out of the equation. You let Detroit come up from behind you and snatch the number one seed like that. That's unacceptable. And then the Cavs, I think they're pretenders too. They made some great pickups with Keon Ellis and James Harden, but I just feel like I could never be afraid of a team that has James Harden running the offense because you just see that he's always downplayed himself every time he gets to the playoffs. So I haven't really seen him make noise. And
Yeah.
again, too, Donovan Mitchell against the Los Angeles Lakers, he putting up 10 points in a crucial game to fight over the seeding. That was a big game, and he just sold himself out. So I don't have any of those teams. I think those teams are both pretenders from my eyes. Toronto Raptors too. I feel like I'm more confident in Toronto more than both of those teams, honestly.
That's
And
shocking.
Philadelphia, and Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Eddie, who's the pretenders are in the East?
My pretenders would be I know I said the Knicks are dangerous, but they're a bit of pretenders. But not too much, I think their major issue is giving up Tom Thibodeau. Firing Tibbs was a big L for them. I think he did tremendous things for them.
I
But
agree.
my biggest pretending team in the East has got to be the 76ers. They had a real big ceiling, a lot of potential, but like Noah said, the best ability is availability.
Right.
I'm gonna just end it there. The Sixers are by far my number one pretenders in the East.
Yeah, I want to still say, some part of me wants to say that the Knicks, I kind of see what both of you guys are talking about with the Knicks. I just know that obviously you still have a puncher's chance with Jalen
Yes.
Brunson there. And look, Carl Anthony Towns, they'll try to figure it out. The team that really, really just kind of gets under my skin and just look at them and say, you know what? I'm not buying it. Is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got rid of Darius Garland. I've always said that Evan Mobley is a star, and obviously, seeing the development of him and running that offense through him would really set them up for success. But they just seem really a team that is not built for that Eastern Conference. Because if they match up against the Knicks, and that was something that happened to them a couple of years back, where the Knicks were just too physical with them. Guys like Mitchell Robinson, they were just a very, very physical team. And you look at this Cavaliers team and with the pieces that they've added, look, they were able to move on with LeBron James after LeBron had left, but you had that Garland and Mitchell, that backcourt and stuff, really a lot of challenges. I look at Donovan Mitchell and say, you know what? That's not the good place for him. And I just don't look at that Cavs team. They're a team that could probably win 50-some games, 40-some, 50-some games in the East and the NBA. But when I look at them and say, are they a guaranteed team to come out of there? I think, no, absolutely not at all. And still the same thing with the Knicks. Look, I've been saying all along before the season started, if things are not working out in La La Land for LeBron, they had already made and passed the torch on to Luka. You go to LeBron and you go to the Lakers. What do we need to do to get this done? Is that possibly, adding a guy like OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges? They added
No,
nothing.
no, 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 no.
They
Not
added.
Mikhail.
I mean, Anunoby.
That guy Mikhail is crazy, man.
Anunoby or even a Mitchell Robinson, which they're probably not going to be able to afford to re-sign him. But my whole thing was the Knicks didn't do enough at the trade deadline to position themselves to not only come out of the Eastern Conference, but compete against the Western Conference teams and win a championship. It just seems like they're happy with getting to the finals as opposed to winning them. I
Getting
thought
the job done.
I feel like that too.
I thought LeBron would be a guy that would really be that team that really, really helps them moving forward.
Another thing
So
before you finish, I don't
Yeah,
mean to
I
cut
got
you
one
off,
thing to
but
say
I have
too.
a hot take about Cleveland. I know we always talk about James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, and you said that Donovan Mitchell, you don't think that he's a big fit. Pause. You don't think he's a good fit for Cleveland, but I think Evan Mobley honestly thrives when Jared Allen is off the court. He just had his career high when Jared Allen was sitting out. I think he had like 34 points and 12 rebounds. But when Jared Allen came back, I feel like they're looking for him more. They're calling out for him on the pick and roll plays. So that's also interesting. I think that, they probably have to think about keeping either one or the other
So,
to make things
so
work in Cleveland.
So what I wanted to say was, this is why I feel like Cleveland isn't in the pretenders bracket. James Harden, yes, he's very unproven in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't proven anything. But they haven't been healthy. They haven't been healthy at all. We haven't seen them at their full potential, which it ties into why I feel like Donovan scored 10 points the other night. He
right.
had they haven't been healthy. They haven't all been on the floor together, including Struz. But when they're all healthy, I feel like they'll be dangerous because they have scoring, they have passing, they have rebounding, they have physicality. They have height. You know what I mean? They cross all the boxes to me.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, we kind of thought that last year when they played Indiana, and
Right.
that first round, Indiana just took.
Another team with no
I know James
experience
Harden
for
was hurt, but I just look at them and say,
I
you know,
have
at
patience.
some point, Donovan's going to have to take that next step and step up. And from what I've heard through my sources within the NBA, the way things were laid out in terms of moving a James Harden, having him leave the Clippers, which a place he didn't really want to, was really positioning themselves to bring LeBron back next year. And then you add LeBron in there. And from what I understand is Donovan Mitchell has gotten it okay from Adidas, who is going to make up the money. for him leaving on the table and requesting out of Cleveland and signing with a team for far less money and moving forward, which will open up the door for Harden and LeBron to be in that backcourt and then have a swan song to end near LeBron's career. So I mean that's the way that it's really shaken out. With these teams and stuff like that. But I just look at Cleveland and I'm just I don't know. Eddie started off Pretenders in the West.
Pretenders in the West. That's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go to Los Angeles Lakers, man. No one not gonna like this one. I gotta go. I gotta go with the Lakers, man. They're very streaky. They don't play defense, and I just feel like they're pretenders. I think Luka Doncic was a great addition, but they just got a lot of things to figure out. Rookie coach, not to mention, they got a lot
Yeah,
of things to figure out.
yeah. In the East, in the West, I'm gonna have to say, ooh, the Pretenders. If I mean, what I don't know. I'm like the Clippers. I look at the Clippers and some of the moves that they have made in terms of what they have done, bringing in these guys and stuff. And I look at the Clippers. Then I look at Denver. But I even said Denver. It's going to come down to matchups. But I think Memphis really, and maybe Pretenders. Maybe Pretenders a little bit different. I'm not going to say them. I'm going to have to say Clippers, and I'm going to possibly say Denver. I think Denver. Look, Aaron Gordon has been out. I'll give them a pass, but something is just missing with that team. I don't know. I don't believe in the Denver. I don't believe in the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, Denver, right behind Lakers for me.
Yeah,
Right behind.
and just looking at that, the way that they have played out. So, guys, as we move on, we talked about postseason awards. That's right around the corner. I'll start off with you, Noah.
We ain't even hit my Pretenders.
I'm sorry, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw you leave. I'm sorry.
Y'all dogging on my Lakers and
I'm sorry. Your Pretenders in your West car.
No, but my Pretenders in the West, I'm surprised nobody spoke about is the Houston Rockets. I think that they're the biggest pretenders, and yeah, I think honestly it's just the Houston Rockets.
But let me ask you this, and I have some pushback on that.
Okay.
You lose Fred VanVleet.
Right.
So Reed Shepard, second-year player, is really getting his feet wet. He's getting a lot of on-the-job training. You still look at this team, Alfred Sengun, you look at Durant. I think the opportunity of not having that guard there, and look, they're still a team they're probably going to win 50 games. So I don't know if you say that they are pretenders, but I mean, I understand that. But when you look at them, you have to say maybe on the curve, kind of like with Denver, not having Aaron Gordon there, but I mean, they did trade
It hurts
Michael.
them, man.
And Aaron Gordon's back. He's been playing.
Aaron Gordon's back, but I don't know, but I mean, I love to hear what you're saying, and I just wanted to point out: do you take in consideration the loss of Fred VanVleet, which was a significant loss, and especially with so money that's on the table to Durant? You had to resign Sengun. You just gave Jabari Smith some money. There's not enough money for them to go out and really get a guy like a Chris Paul or whomever. They just really stood pat.
And to win 50 games like that ain't nothing to sneeze at. That's all I want to say.
Yes.
And also, I
The
feel like if
reason
they play the Lakers, they'll beat the Lakers.
I disagree. I think in the playoffs, it's best out of 7 games. So when you see things like Kevin Durant struggling to create offense and generate offense out of the double team within the first 2 games, the coaches make adjustments and then it turns the whole series around. And that's why I feel like that's the biggest problem with Houston. Kevin Durant was supposed to be in Houston to be the closer. They got rid of Jalen Green. They got rid of other guys just so Kevin Durant could come in and really just give him a lift on offense. But I feel like if Shane Gould is not doing what he's supposed to do on offense and Jabari Smith Jr. is not hitting shots, then you're looking at that team like, how did they even make it this far? They look like a completely different team. So that's why I feel like they're the biggest pretenders because they rely so heavily on Kevin Durant to generate so much offense. And mind you, too, this is not the same Kevin Durant from 6, 7 years ago where he could just do this day in and day out. He's getting older now. And don't get me wrong, he's still an incredible scorer. He's one of the best scorers of all time. But it's only so much that he could do. Other guys have to step up. And it's just who else is going to really step up?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, no, I hear what you're saying. I think just really look at them and really guarding them on the curb. So before we get into just even the postseason awards, the next one that I'll ask you guys is the most disappointing team in the NBA this year is Eddie.
The most disappointing team in the NBA this year, I'm gonna have to say the Denver Nuggets. I had really high expectations for the Nuggets when they signed Cam Johnson. Um, and they got Bruce Brown back. I thought they were gonna have a really good season. I thought they'll be a top 3 team in the West, maybe even second. I believe. I thought Jokic would be really good, and not only that though, Jamal Murray just hasn't been playing well this season. So I'm gonna have to say the most disappointing team this year in the NBA has got to be the Denver Nuggets.
Mm, 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 mm. Good one. Good one. Noah MB.
I'm trying to think. I
Oh, the
would have
Sixers
to
are
say,
number something.
I would have to say probably Philadelphia or probably Memphis. You know, you got all those stars that came across in Philadelphia. I thought Paul George was going to be able to get more games in with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and the whole Memphis situation. Either Memphis or New Orleans. I feel like it's a tie between those two because Memphis with the whole situation with Ja Morant and losing guys like Jaron Jackson and Desmond Bain, you just look at that team and just say, well, what's going on? Are we going to just blow it up? Are we going to rebuild? What's going on? Because they were a playoff team not too long ago. So now just to see them at this point is just it's very disappointing. And also the Pelicans, I was really looking forward to seeing the Pelicans taking a little leap, kind of like what
Yeah,
Charlotte is doing. I saw them in like the same type of playing field where it's just like you don't see them making the finals, but you can still see them creeping into the playoffs. Because
yeah.
I'm disappointed that Zion's the #1 pick and he's never been in the playoffs before. It's
He's never been
embarrassing.
healthy though. Never been healthy. I was gonna ask you that though. You
And
answered
that's
my
what I'm
question without
saying.
me
This
asking.
this year this year was supposed to be his year where he had to play a certain amount of games or it was gonna affect his contract. So
Yeah,
I
because
was
he did
expecting to
do
see
good in the
this.
play-in against the Lakers. I think last year or 2 years ago, played really good. But yeah, you answered my question without me asking. I was gonna ask you if you had high expectations for them, but yeah, clearly you did.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like they don't have a pick this year, so they really needed to do somewhat good this year. But I feel like I think New Orleans might be my most disappointing team this year.
Mm. I'm gonna say, well, we all kind of figured that you know what, when the Milwaukee Bucks stretched Damian Lillard's contract, they signed Miles Turner. They really were hamstrung in terms of being able to, have a team that again really compete for a championship would be a very good team. Philadelphia, I think VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, they still keep them afloat. I'm gonna have to say, and I still say the Clippers. Clippers are still going to be a good team and stuff and they're playing in such a competitive conference in the West. I'm gonna have to say the Orlando Magic. Really, really a team that, if you
Mm.
look back 2 years ago, they burst on the scene. Paulo Banchero wins the Rookie of the Year, comes in, gets his money last year. They had the injuries with Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner gets hurt, so they had these injuries. They hit on their draft picks, right?
Jalen Suggs too.
Jalen Suggs. They
And then the
hit.
addition of Bane.
Right. And then last year they went out and got Contavious Caldwell Pope. And they had the injuries. It didn't materialize. And a lot of people looked and said, well, wait a minute. Contavious Caldwell Pope was a guy that was supposed to come in and really stretch the defense and really allow the perimeter scoring to really come into play and help this young team. That didn't work out. And a lot of people thought it was really Contavious Caldwell Pope wasn't the right fit. They add Desmond Bain this offseason. I thought it was a great, great move in bringing in a young veteran to help a very young team. Surprisingly, he said, you know what, we're going to hold on to these young guys and go through it. And this year, it seems like Banchero is taking a step back. Franz has been dealing with some injuries. We've seen the emergence of Anthony Black. And it just seems like Desmond Bain has really hasn't had that type of impact that you would expect from all the success he had in
in
Memphis.
Memphis.
And I look at them and I'm saying, look, are you a team that is supposed to be, very, very dominant? I thought that they know, and I think a lot of people, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I thought when the season started, and based upon we knew Boston was not going to be 100% healthy, we knew Indiana was going to be obviously down and not having Halliburton, as well as getting rid of Miles Turner. I thought that Orlando would be that team that kind of creeps up behind, and we knew kind of figured that Philly was going to really understand that, look, Joel Embiid, Paul George really haven't proven they could play at least 60 plus games. I thought Orlando would be that team that would
Definitely
be
a top 16 for sure.
top. I thought they would be at least a top five team, top six,
Mhm.
top five.
Mhm.
And the way that they have played, and I mean, it's still some time, but I mean, you look at them in their AFC, I think that Paulo Banchero really hasn't performed to the level that we would have thought in his sort of maturation process. So they would really stand out and be my most disappointing team in the East, and excuse me, in the NBA this year.
Okay.
you know. So before we move, let's move on. Postseason awards, postseason award predictions, and when you look at the postseason awards, um, let's start off with, I guess, more than anything, uh, six man of the year. And if you look at a six man of the year, uh, Noah, who would you have as your six man of the year?
I think I'm gonna go Jaime Jaquez. I'm torn between him and Keldon Johnson. Miami, they haven't been a great team all around, but offensively, I think they're still to this day the highest scoring NBA team in the league, and I think that he's just finding his way to just meshing himself into the lineup, into the team, and he's been real productive for him. Even when they picked up Norman Powell, he's been able to just show that you could still use me. I'm still a valid piece of this offense. So I think he's been pretty good, and of course Calvin Johnson too. I feel like he's been a big part of the San Antonio Spurs success for them in that number two seed and potentially the number one if they get things done.
Yeah. Eddie, who do you like?
It's a tough question, honestly. Six Man of the Year's award is gonna be really good this year. I got a
Mm.
few candidates. I'm gonna say my leading candidate probably would be Con Knuckle, maybe. Also, my candidate Rookie of the Year, maybe.
It's
Uh,
Eddie.
Yeah, can't start, bro.
oh,
Con
he's
Star.
okay. All right.
Yeah, he
Don't give
start.
him that. Don't give him that yet.
All right. So I'm gonna give you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say he. Noah give the credit to Keldon. I give the credit to Dylan. Dylan Harbour probably would be six man of the year in my opinion this year.
Mm. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to say Keldon Johnson. I mean, you look at what this team has done, and I think that obviously you plan on a team that is winning. That really even further says a lot about the impact of a guy like Keldon Johnson and what they've been able to do. On top of that, look, I mean, his job is obviously to come in there and you know
Keep that momentum.
yeah, really keep that momentum and stuff like that. So that really stands out to me. Um, I'll ask you, Noah, when you look at the most improved player, who do you have?
This is really tough because I know a lot of the media and everybody's gravitating towards the kill Alexander Walker, which I don't discredit him at all. I think he's had a phenomenal season this year. But my personal choice for the most improved would have to be Ryan Rollins on the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, we were just talking about this a little earlier that Milwaukee has basically just been beaten up. They haven't been fully healthy, and they've been having a lot of trade rumor talks, and we didn't pretty much expect him to do anything or go anywhere. But I felt like he's had a very, very big leap compared to what he was last year. When you look at his stats and his numbers, I think he's made a very big improvement.
Mm. Okay, Ryan Rollins and stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a lot, and You know, you look at the way they perform and stuff. I mean, imagine what they would be without his contributions and stuff. Eddie, who do you like as that most improved player?
Most improved player, Kevin Porter's been playing pretty good in my opinion. But I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't know if we could even use him as a candidate. But Jalen Brown has elevated his play
Wait a minute.
tremendously in my
No
opinion.
way. Come on.
He's
Eddie,
been he's an
man,
MVP
no
candidate.
way.
He's
No,
never been an
no,
MVP candidate. We gotta go
no.
Jalen Brown, man.
No, you
Can't be
can't go
MVP and
MOP.
MIP.
Most improved MIP. You can't do that. Come on.
Bro, he has never been playing as well in his career. The numbers
Eddie,
he's putting up is
Eddie, he
He a
can't
tremendous.
get
top
them.
three pick.
No, yeah,
I
he
mean,
can't.
John Moran did get it too, though.
He can't get that. I can't get that. Give me somebody else. Yeah. You know, a most improved player is a guy that is on the bottom and rises up, or some a
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that
I know. I know what
But
you
I
mean.
mean,
That's why I said
John Moran did win Most Improved too, so that's why I give him grace.
I
John
just
Moran
feel
won
like
that. What was that, second year, third year in the league?
Yeah,
yeah,
but he was
yeah,
still a
it
top
was
pick. He
somewhere
was
like
still a
that.
top
But
pick.
I mean, I just feel like Jalen Brown has elevated his play. But if we can't use him, I'm gonna go. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Alexander Walker, Nigel,
Nikhil.
Yeah,
Nikhil.
Nikhil.
Nikhil Alexander Walker has been playing really well.
Yep.
I mean, I had high expectations for him when Atlanta signed him, but yeah, he's probably my most improved player. If not Jalen Brown, then definitely Alexander Walker.
I'm gonna say Jalen Johnson.
Ooh.
Jalen Johnson's a good one.
Johnson would be a guy that I have up there as a most improved player because of the fact is that how well Johnson's played. Look, they traded Trey Young, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So search for that franchise player, if you will, is no longer there. And I just think that clearly when you have a guy like that, that really says a lot in terms of just being able to come in there and he is groomed, if you will, or be in position to be that franchise player. So I'm gonna have to say him. And I look at Jaime Jaquez, you mentioned about him, as well as Nikhil Walker Alexander. This is a guy, Nikhil, that got his opportunity. He gets out from under Minnesota and stuff like that, and really goes to Atlanta and really has really thrived. But I think Jalen Johnson has really performed well this year and stuff thus far. I'll ask
Jo-
you. No, go ahead.
Can I say something? I mean, if we gotta use Johnson, we gotta use Jalen Brown, man.
Jalen
Johnson was pretty
Johnson,
good last year.
Jalen Johnson, but Jalen Brown is look. Jalen
Yeah,
Brown,
first time All-Star. Jalen Johnson
come
just getting
on.
his feet. Yeah,
I get it. I get it. I
he
get it. I
just
get it.
becoming into
I
his
get it.
role. He just coming
Jalen
into his role.
Johnson
He's
was
young
pretty
guy.
good last year, though. He was somebody on my radar last year.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean Jalen Brown. I know you. I know you love the Celtics. I know you love the Celtics and stuff. Noah, when you look at we were talking about it earlier, and you just look at this team in terms of just we talking about some of these awards and stuff, but let's look at NBA Coach of the Year. Who would you have?
I'm still thinking what I gotta say though. I think I think I also agree with you were saying. JB Bickerstaff was doing his thing, but I
Oh, you're
think Joe
entitled to
Mazzulla.
your opinion. You're
No,
entitled to your opinion.
I'm just saying I agree with you were saying on the Pistons. Pistons been playing very good basketball, especially with Kay Cunningham being out, and I think he could either be a coach of the year. If not him, I still think Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla definitely should be coach of the year, in my opinion.
Joe Mazzulla. Okay. Um,
Only because it's like we know that the Pistons were going to be a top five, top four team in the Eastern Conference. Granted, they did go number one. They did perform higher than our expectations, but we still seen them in the playoffs again. We knew that they were going to be back, and the Celtics, you mentioned it yourself. They lost Porzingis, they lost Horford, they lost Drew Holiday, they lost a lot of guys, and Jason Tatum going out with the injury. I personally didn't have them sitting on top of the second seed.
hey, no arguments right there from me at all when it comes to that. Eddie, who do you have as your Coach of the Year?
I'm gonna have to go with Joe Mazzulla too. I'm gonna go Joe Mazzulla for the same reasons. Got just like Noah said, they had us low and we're doing good things. So I gotta go Joe Mazzulla. JB Bickerstaff is a good candidate though.
Yeah, I think shout out to Joe Mazzulla. He's done an unbelievable job. And look, let's be clear. The cupboard wasn't bare for both of these franchises, and I think more importantly, when you look at the Boston Celtics, were they going to be a team that people said would be a top two team? Absolutely not. Were they going to be a team that were going to be in the playoffs? Absolutely. Yeah, I thought clearly that would be a say. Peyton Pritchard elevated his game, has played phenomenal. You mentioned about some of these other guys and stuff that they've just had a total team effort. However, when I look at the Pistons, and you got to look at the Pistons from the standpoint of prior to that injury, this was a team that, yes, they're a young team. Cade Cunningham, you're still seeing that sort of process in his growth and in the production in his game. And you look at what they've been able to do. And even in spite of all the injuries, right, from Isaiah Stewart to Cade Cunningham, this is a team that realistically is still there. They're 55. They've won 55 games. And let's go back even further. I mean, if you go back last year, this is a team that won 44 games. So they have just done nothing but improve over and over. And this wasn't a play-in tournament team. So that's why last year I had voted and said that I thought that JB Bickerstaff should have gotten it. That wasn't the case because of obviously what was taking place and Mark Dagnall has done in Oklahoma City. Yeah, I think this year you got to give it to I think you got to give it to JB Bickerstaff to be able to come in there and be able to do what he has done. And let's
And even taking a year back further, they were the worst team in the league.
Yeah,
They had the longest losing streak in the NBA.
Yeah, you talk about 2023, 2024, 2023, season 2023, this team only won 14 games.
Right.
So you're talking about in a span of what, 5 years, maybe going on 6, they go from winning 14 games and follow it up the following year. After winning 14 games, they jump from 14 to 44, and then from 44 to 55. So the work that they have done with this team, I got to say, JB Bickerstaff, the proof is in the pudding. Now, granted, when he got there and stuff like that, it wasn't like the cupboard was bare. But I'm gonna have to say JB Bickerstaff would be my
Why you right here?
But can I just say one thing? I feel
What's
like
up to you, y'all? What's up?
What's up, man? What's up, brother? JB Bickerstaff is a great candidate. I can't argue with that. They were pretty high last year though, Detroit. They were pretty high last year.
They were pretty high. Yeah, but again, I just said this. I'll say it again. You're talking about a franchise that went from 14 games to go up to 44. And then I mean, to do what they have done,
back-to-back seasons, yeah.
And I mean, look, when you look at it, we're still seeing the evolution of Cade Cunningham. I mean, Cade Cunningham involved and stuff, and I think that he has done unbelievable. But
absolutely.
I think the thing is that I think it's JB Bickerstaff's time right now. Okay, Eddie, I'll start off with you. Rookie of the year is.
That's a tough one. This one is really good this year. VJ Edgecombe, I feel like started the season off really, really, really well. Cooper Flag was of course the favorite, but I don't think he's gonna get it. By the way, to backtrack, Dallas is another good team this year that didn't do good. That was Pretenders.
Well, I think the thing about it also too is, look, with the injuries and not having, obviously, I would say injuries factored in to some of that, but Dallas would get a little
give him some grace. Give him some grace.
Give grace. But who is your rookie of the year?
Gotta be Knuppel. Gotta be. He's playing great basketball. Gotta be Knuppel, in my opinion. Yeah. Hands down.
Noah, who's your rookie of the year?
It's definitely going to Colin Knippel, but I really love how Dylan Harper's been playing out there in San Antonio, and I feel
My
like the
guy.
eyes and the media votes are going to gravitate towards him because he's on San Antonio, and it's the Victor Wembanyama show and Stephon Castle, but Dylan Harper is going to be very very tough. He's going to be tough. I've seen everything that I needed to see this season, and he's definitely a superstar. He has a superstar written all over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Obviously, you can't overlook what Cooper Flag has been able to do. Look, it's been a tough season. I'm gonna say they probably have to do a co-rookie of the year. I've
Yeah.
been saying, look, Con Knipple, if
Do we
he,
really? Do
I
we
said
really have to
this,
do co MVP?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I think so. It's that close. It's that close.
But
he's been able to do
think
some
about it
things.
from this standpoint. Think about it from this standpoint. All right, Dallas Mavericks, they had high expectations, and we're gonna give them grace that there was injuries that played in a factor to it too. Charlotte, they're still in pretty much the same boat. We were just saying this earlier that Charlotte, we're not looking at them as a
Well,
top five team in the East.
yeah, I said that if there's a co-rookie of the year, I think that clearly, if they want to put Cooper Flag on there, but there's no way in the world that you can deny what
Comfortable.
was done. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if you take Concanipple away from the Hornets,
but
they're
you
not
still
they're
have
not
Brandon. You
they're not
still
gonna
have
be in
Brandon
that
Miller.
play in. They're not gonna be in that play in talk.
Yeah, but you still have Brandon Miller. You still have LaMelo Ball. When you look at the Mavericks, it's really been Cooper Flag. They got
Just
rid.
Cooper Flag. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you. Look, I agree, but I think the politics of the fact is that he has played well. He's been dealt with some unfortunate circumstances. Look, there's been no Kyrie Irving, none of that stuff. So the supporting cast hasn't been as strong as, if you will, the Charlotte Hornets. And I think clearly there's no way in the world that you cannot include Con Knipple in the Rookie of the Year conversation because of what he's been able to do, and the impact that he's had. I mean, I just don't think there's no way in the world, he's not included in any of those things at all. But I mean, you can make a real strong argument for that moving forward. So when we talk, go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. I want to change my most improved player of the year because you guys actually just reminded me. Since I feel like I didn't give a good one, I gotta say Stephon Castle. I forgot about that. Stephon
You
Castle
just won
has
Rookie of
elevated,
the Year.
bro. But Stephon Castle has been playing tremendous basketball. He's not only he's defensive player, defensive first team, but hands down. By the way, probably up there for defensive player of the year at
Yeah.
guard. That's not easy to do. Not
Ah,
easy to do, brother. Not easy to do.
not
Uh,
easy to do.
yeah, you speak about that, and I mean, Stephon Castle has played well, and I think that his play, you know, what a guy like Wembanyama has done, uh, has really elevated everybody around him, though.
Yeah.
But Eddie, you mentioned about the whole situation of that. So, defensive player of the year. Who do you have the defensive player of the year?
I mean, we all know. I think we all know the answer to this one. Wemby by a landslide. It's not even close. Nobody else. The
I'm
closest
surprised you
person
didn't
to
say Jalen
Wemby.
Brown.
The closest person to Wemby is Stephon Castle, and right after that is Jalen Brown.
No way.
Oh, ain't nobody close
That's why I got to
to
disagree.
Wemby. Ain't nobody close to Wemby. Noah, who do you have?
It is Wembanyama. I feel like it's more debatable if we talk about who's gonna be close to Wembanyama, the
Yeah.
defensive player of the year. But yeah, the only thing that's going against Wembanyama is just him hitting that 65 game limit. So I think he's gonna get it this year, and yeah, man, he's gonna get defensive player of the year for a long time. It's gonna
For a
be
long
big.
time. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Start off with Noah. MVP is.
Honestly, I was thinking about this
I
on
was
the
waiting
road
for this
last
one.
night.
I was waiting for this one.
I honestly have came to the conclusion I have no clue who's going to be the MVP this year.
Oh,
There is so much NBA
come
talent.
on, Noah.
I could be biased. I could say Luka Doncic. I could say Luka this, Luka that. But
Stay
when you look
stay
at
true to you.
when you look at Jokic's stats, and when you look at Shane Gilgeous-Alexander, what he's done this season, and it's just like those four guys, and also Jalen Brown too. But it's just like more so for Wembanyama and Jokic and Luka and SGA. When you look at how high these guys are performing at the level that these guys are performing, we might have to do a co MVP. We talk about co
Yeah,
rookie of the years. We might have to do a co MVP because Shea is just dominating. He's averaging 30 points and he's doing it efficiently, consistently. He's
efficiently.
doing it
Yes,
every
yes.
game. He's scoring 20 points almost every single time he steps on the floor. Even in the bad game, he's still walking away with 25. Then we got Luka putting up 600 points in a month. That's unbelievable. Jokic is averaging almost 30 points and a triple double. He's leading the league in rebounds and assists at the same time. So it's just like, how can I really sit here and tell you who's the most valuable player in the league?
Yeah,
There's an argument for every single person that you could
Yeah,
possibly say.
yeah. I'm with you.
I think the thing that really stands out to me is you make a lot of great points, right? And what this MVP race is probably going to come down, it's going to be a very, very close one, because you're right about the individual success of these guys, right? From Jokic, right? You talk about Luka. I think Luka has made this strong push, for the Lakers, and they've won 50 games. But I got to look at Wemby, man, and like his impact. Like, I mean,
Tremendous.
his impact is incredible to go from he's averaging 24 points, 11 rebounds.
I think he was averaging 24 points last year. I feel like the only thing that's
And he's
getting him in
getting
the
like
candidates right now is the defense.
almost 4 blocks a game. My point is this. If you gave it to, look, I thought at one point it was a foregone conclusion. I thought it was Cade Cunningham, right? Cade, what he was able to do. I thought SGA took a step back. He missed time, but he's back now. Luka really has made this late surge. And then Jaylen Brown, like Eddie, I gotta agree with you, man. Jaylen Brown was perhaps the most underrated MVP candidate this year, because without Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown has been so consistent. And this has been the talk for so long about Jaylen Brown. If he was on another team, would he be this? Would he be that? Well, there was no Jason Tatum around. And what he did is really elevate his game. Now, granted, you had Peyton Pritchard, who stepped up and played very well. But I kind of agree
and
with
Anthony
you.
Simons before that trade.
I kind of agree with you. Like, I don't know. It's going to probably be by a hair, like splitting a hair where you go. But I know this. If you're Joker, SGA, Jaylen Brown, who else we said?
Luka,
you better win it this year, because Wemby
he's here.
Wemby is here. Wemby is here.
I'm telling you this. I saw him in some of these early preseason games and how physical he was getting. I said, hold up. He's not running from the contact. He's initiating. And look, he's going to be that guy that if he doesn't get healthy, he's going to not only win multiple MVPs, but he's going to be a guy that every year it begins with him in terms of the conversation. So, he doesn't get it this year. It's okay.
He'll win it for sure.
He'll win it
Eventually. In his career, he'll win a few.
Another interesting thing I noticed too, I think if Wemby wins it this year, Derrick Rose no longer is the youngest MVP.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. When we spoke about it,
I wouldn't be surprised they try to take that little stat away from Derrick Rose. They've been taking a lot of stats from our legends in these past couple of years. So if he wins it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Wemby's here, man, and my pick. It's a tough one because I feel like Jaylen Brown's probably been the most consistent out of them all, if not Wemby. But SGA has really he's putting up the same numbers he put up last year, just more efficiently.
Let's not forget.
That's hard to ignore.
let's
that's
not
the thing,
forget
Eddie.
they were on pace to beat the Golden State Records.
Yeah,
But
but
they got
They were
injured. J Dub hasn't even been there all season. So to
exactly.
put
So
up
that's
the
what I'm saying.
numbers
Let's
that he's
not
putting
forget.
up without his second option more efficiently, you got to tip your hat to that guy. Got
yeah.
to.
I
Let's
mean,
Got
not
to.
forget about that.
yeah, Eddie, you make a great point because you think about the fact is that they've really dealt with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And one thing, and even Shea missed some time,
Yeah.
but you look up, he's averaging 31, about almost 7 assists a game. And and I think he's 31, and then Williams has only played 30 games.
Yeah. That's nothing.
Holmgren has been there, but they've gotten production from guys like AJ Mitchell, who
Yeah.
might, I mean, it's been a guy, and they have just been a sort of thing where we talked about the Celtics in terms of like, again, the guy goes down, it's the next man up mentality.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder like that.
That's
So
not easy to do, man. It's not
yeah,
easy to do.
I could agree with you on the fact is that when SGA was out, it allowed Jaylen Brown to really get that opportunity to get some shot, and rightfully so. But he's back, and I don't know.
He's on fire, bro. He's a walking 30. Walking
Even
30.
Nikola Jokic, he
Yeah,
was out.
Yeah,
And
Jokic is
after
but
he came back, he had like one more game. He was
but
eligible
Noah,
to
to
miss,
your
and they
point
still
when we
able to
spoke
not give
about
you
this,
awards.
to your point when we spoke about this, the Nuggets just aren't high enough in the standings to even for him to even be considered a candidate, in my opinion.
but
Yeah,
this
he's putting up great
But
stats.
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like, are we just gonna look at the? Are we gonna
no
overlook the stats? We
no
talking about most valuable player, not most valuable team.
no. But you're
That
right,
ties
though.
in though.
Eddie's bringing up a great point,
He
and this
is.
is where I'll say this, Eddie. You are absolutely right. I agree with you, and I agree with you too, Noah, in terms of its MVP, right? Most valuable player. But I'll ask you this: where would the Nuggets be without Nikola
Without Jokic, exactly.
They probably won't even they
Jokic?
12 seed maybe.
Out of everybody we said, I've actually looked at this stat. Luca and Jokic, they've had the worst. Their team has had the worst record when both of them have been out. And Victor Wembanyama and Shea, when they've sat out, their team has done the best out of those four players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the impact, and I mean again, you can say that with any team. I mean, you talk about a guy like Jalen Brunson. I mean, when you have a franchise player, this is the expectation. And look, Jokic leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals.
Leads
Yeah.
the league.
He does
Not just
everything
his
for
team.
them.
He leads the
He does he
league
does
in
he does everything
rebounding.
for them. He does
Leads the
everything for them.
league in assists. You know how
But
But
crazy
but
that has
but
never been done before. Am I wrong?
I don't
That's
no,
think
never been
I
Will.
don't
done.
think so either.
I think
I
Will.
don't think anybody has led the
But
league in
this is
rebounds
my thing.
and
So look,
assists.
this is my
You
thing.
might have to fact check me on that.
Jokic is doing everything for this team. But at the same time, he's doing everything for this team. They're only like the sixth seed in the West. I mean what can we really say? We're
Now
gonna say he's the MVP of the
they're the fourth team because we was
even
the
the fourth
third.
seed. Even the fourth seed. I don't think they're a high enough seed for him to win the MVP trophy.
But I mean, Russell Westbrook with his triple double season, they weren't a top five seed in the West.
But there wasn't no Wembyama or Shea Alexander in that year.
You're
So
right. You're right. All right. So my question to both of you guys is: what do you think that each of those candidates have to do to solidify the MVP? Each of those players, what would they have to do to say, you know what, you're the MVP? I've seen enough.
you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say. Put
What you
that
gonna
ring
say?
on. Put
Yeah,
that ring on.
But
I
it's the
mean,
regular season award. It's not Finals MVP.
Yeah, but the award goes after. Don't they give the award after the season?
Nah,
well, no, it's
they
after
do it in the playoffs, but
it's
they
the
don't do
regular
it.
season.
Yeah,
I
they do
think
it as regular season.
I think the only thing is that no player. Will Chambers led the league in points, rebounds multiple times. He's led the league in total assists, whatever. But no players in NBA history has led the league in total points, rebounds, and assists in the same season. So
What
to me,
about what about what
That's
about per
domination.
game? What about per game? Not
That's
just total.
domination.
he's dominated. I mean, I think if anything, look, Jokic, it's clearly without him, he is a generational talent. But like Eddie just alluded to, you're talking about guys like Wemby, Shea.
Shay.
It is so tough. And to answer your question, I mean, I think really whoever ends up winning that West and finish with that number 1 seed, and probably is going to be SGA, and how they close out the season, I
Yeah.
think that that will have an impact on voters. But I don't know, Eddie. What do you think?
I'm probably gonna say the same thing you said. Whichever team finishes out the first seed in the West, because in
Yeah,
my opinion, that's the toughest conference, and those two teams are by far the best two teams in NBA, in my opinion. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. So
yeah,
in my opinion, if the Spurs can find a way to finish the number 1 seed, gotta give the MVP to Wemby.
yeah.
Got to, and that would be a monster season for Wemby. He's probably gonna win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP, and
MVP.
maybe and potentially a ring. That'll be a crazy season. A crazy season.
And he's just getting started and stuff like
And
that.
he's just getting
Yeah.
started.
And the interesting thing too, the Lakers play OKC twice, and the Spurs play the Nuggets 2 times. So those 4 candidates will face each other 2 times before the season's over. I personally think that play will play into a big factor of who wins the MVP.
Well, the biggest thing is, will the Lakers play a lot of those guys like when you get closer and closer? Because I think right now the Lakers are about 10 games away from the OKC Thunder. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much those guys will play because the fact is you got the playoffs, so you want to make sure you have an opportunity to rest guys. Guys, before we get out of here, I got to ask you your Final Four predictions. And when you look at the
Yeah.
Final Four of the NCAA tournament, it is mega, 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 mega showdowns. A lot of good basketball and stuff like that. When you look at a team like Arizona, they're going to be facing Michigan. Um, there was a lot of talk that that could have been, really the final championship game there. And then you have the Cinderella team, if you will, and the UConn Huskies not
Ah,
supposed to be there.
we do this, man.
That's a
And
UConn fan too.
hey, 3 of them things and 3 Final Four appearances in 4 years.
4 years, yes,
Uh,
son.
you can't argue with that. And I'll start off with you, Eddie. Who's your Final Four prediction? And who
I
cut?
mean, we already know the. You claim it's a Cinderella story, but this is what we do. We true to this. This is what we do. UConn Huskies all the way, baby. UConn Huskies.
UConn Huskies. Noah.
Yes.
I honestly think Arizona's going all the way. So
Yeah.
I won't. But yeah, I think the winner of that Duke versus UConn game was gonna make it to the big dance, the big stage. I didn't think that because who does
Illinois.
they play Illinois? Yeah, yeah,
Illinois,
yeah. I
yeah.
don't think Illinois will be able to compete with UConn.
We the underdogs, by the way. We the
Yeah.
underdogs.
Yeah.
So UConn's the underdogs against Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your thoughts, sir.
No. I'll finish. I think Arizona's going all the way though. They're a
Yeah.
very good team.
What's interesting is that this Final Four is going to be littered with guys that are potential lottery picks up and down these Final Fours. I think Illinois, you got to pay a little close attention to Illinois if you haven't done so, because I think Illinois, with a lot of their European players that they have brought over, and then also added Andre Stojakovic.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yep.
So y'all got
Yep.
this on there too.
Yeah,
True.
he's
You know what he do.
but they got a young man that's going to be one of those top guards that's in the lottery.
Kean
And,
Wagler.
Keaton Wagler, that 6'6" guard. I watch out for him, and that's going to be a real nice game to see him play against Silas Demery, Tyrus Reed, Malachi Smith.
Yep.
A lot of
Yep.
those
Yep.
guys, Solo Ball. A lot of those guys. I'm looking at Illinois. I'm going to say Illinois beats UConn. I'm sorry, Eddie. And then Arizona and Michigan. That's just going to be a bloodbath because
Yeah, that's gonna be a goodie.
you're talking
Two
about
very good teams.
Jalen. You're talking about Jaden Bradley, veteran. Braden Berries, another guy that's going to be an NBA player. You're talking about Koa Pete. That I'm saying right now, Koa Pete is going to be potentially a lottery player and pick. If he's not, he's going to be a stud.
Be a star. I
Yeah,
like Kobe Pete.
he's going to be a star in the NBA. And when you look at those guys, and then on the Michigan side, Yaxel Landenberg, man, I'm just unbelievable. Player of the year, definitely a lottery pick, and you got those bigs that are with Michigan. They're going to be a war.
Yeah.
So The winner of that game,
That's what I'm saying. I think the winner's gonna come out of the whole tournament's gonna come out that series right there.
I think Illinois might
Arizona,
have a
Michigan.
shot, though, man. I think Illinois. I think if it's Michigan and Illinois, the old Big Ten and stuff. But I really believe Illinois might have a shot, man. I think it's going to be some good basketball. Before we get out of here, guys, the NBA has the expansion that has taken place, and when you look at before that, I want to get you guys' opinion on this. And this is something that I was talking about earlier. Should the NBA, NCAA, we talk about the March Madness, these 3 weeks of nothing but excitement, should they have an NBA playoff format? Because think about this. The Duke loss would have just been game one, and then they would have to play again. And if Duke loses those 2 games, UConn goes off to the Final Four. Should the NCAA adopt a playoff format, maybe the best 2 out of 3? Eddie?
Nah, it takes away from March Madness. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what we here for. That's what we go to. That's what we stay up to watch these games for. Wake up early to watch these games for. March Madness. March Madness will be different if you implicate a playoff format. I feel like.
Yeah. Noah, a
Yeah,
format right here.
I agree with Eddie. It's do or die. It's not only as the viewers, but I think as like the coaching staff and the players, you go in with a different mindset. Is when your back's against the wall and it's do or die. So, I think that overall, like it's a great thing that it's just do or die. It's win or go home in the March Madness.
Yeah. I like the fact is that, and this was one of the arguments, when you go to play pickup ball and you going on a court where it's so many people that if you lose that game, you're gonna have to wait for a long time and probably don't even play the rest of the day.
Right.
So you have to have, like you guys allude to, that laser focus where you lock in, like you said, no, you lock in. It's one opportunity, one shining moment. However, it would make it a little interesting because again, these guys are going on to play in the NBA, some of them potentially. But I think clearly, the laser focus, because again, if you lose one game, it's like, it's not the end of the world, but you can have the opportunity to move on.
I mean, we kind of have that with the tournaments before the big tournament. So
You're
I mean,
right. The conference tournaments and stuff.
yeah. So I mean, we kind of have that. Kind of have it. The format.
You do, especially in the power conferences. So, guys, Noah, when you talk about that in terms of just that laser focus and having all that stuff in there, I know you alluded to that, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, starting off with it. But NBA expansion.
I've been waiting for this conversation.
Seattle and Las Vegas are going to have franchises, and more importantly, I think if anything, the people in Seattle said they got their franchise. They feel really good about that, and that was something that the late great Lenny Wilkins really was, pushing, and now you have a franchise back. What are your thoughts on Las Vegas and Seattle getting franchises?
I'm sorry to rain on all the Seattle fans and the Vegas fans that are excited, but I think it's a absolutely horrible idea. And I'm gonna just say this real fast. I think that first of all, you mentioned this. We've had conversations a while back too, also with all these media deals where you got game streaming on Amazon and ESPN and NBC now. It's a lot going on for fans that just want to watch the games, and on top of that, all of these games are getting mushed into. There's 82 games in 81, 82 games in a season.
82.
82 games, and they're all coming on at 7 o'clock at night Eastern time. There's so many games that you have to watch, so much to consume that you can't physically just watch every single game at the same time.
But you want to watch your team.
And not only that,
I agree with that.
I feel like it's good for the sport. If you ask me, to be honest,
it is.
Finish your thought.
But the last thing I'm going to say is also we have teams like Washington. We have teams like New Orleans. There are a lot of teams that are just at the bottom of the gutter. They're struggling. They have no hope for a future right now. And it's just like you add 2 more teams. Do we have enough talent and enough superstars to really go out of our way and put 2 more teams out?
Absolutely,
and we're going to see the Washington Wizards scrapping for the worst team.
I understand what you're saying in terms of just look, it waters down the product, right?
Exactly.
It further waters it down. However, I'll give you an example. So you know, years ago, I didn't want to. I would, obviously living in the tri-state area, I didn't want to watch in football. I didn't want to watch the Jets. I didn't want to watch the Giants. I wanted to watch the best game available. And the only way to do that, you had to have something direct TV. You had to have the NFL package, right? Something I still have to this day. I like the opportunity to be able to watch the game that I want to watch. And the same holds true to kind of in the NBA. When you have these top tier teams, back when it was the Sacramento Kings, when they were really, the Phoenix Suns and stuff, or now with the Lakers, you control that. You have the option, right, to be able to decide what you want to watch. I think that honestly, if we're being totally honest, the reason why Seattle is on the table is because that was a franchise that
It
lost
was.
team,
Yeah.
and I think clearly the league has not really felt good with having them not be a part of this NBA. So the trade-off is you can't just admit one team, you got to bring in two teams, and that just so happens to be now Las Vegas. And thus, that's why that Las Vegas was chosen to be the hub, if you will, for the summer league to see how we could go
In the playing tournament.
yeah, in the playing tournament, not the playing tournament, but the cup, the NBA Cup.
NBA Cup,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, excuse
Yeah,
me,
the
yeah,
NBA
yeah.
Cup.
NBA
So
Cup, NBA Cup.
the Emirates NBA Cup. So this was sort of put in place to test the waters out. And now you look at Las Vegas, they have the A's athletics out there. They have a WNBA team. They have an NHL team. They got a football team out there. It's a thriving market. So I think ultimately, I see what you're saying, but it just gives hope for more opportunities and more jobs for players and stuff like that to come in there. And now the biggest thing is that yeah, you're gonna have a downside of that, but we'll figure it out. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
I'm all for it, man. I think I want to touch on a lot that you said. I agree with. Like you said, the Vegas market is thriving as far as football. The women's team has been pretty good with what's her name,
Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson. So I think the market's pretty good. Not only that, the NBA, the viewing has been down really bad. I think it's time to shake things up. So I'll even go further and say maybe the NBA should copy some type of format that the NCAA tournament has because things have just been pretty bad as far as viewership. So I'm all for it. I think adding the two teams to do something good for the sport of the NBA specifically. I think the Wizards will be pretty good next year with the additions they had, the young guys they have.
Fingers and
Hopefully,
toes.
as long as they stay healthy. Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's good for the NBA. We need something. We need something different.
Yeah, and Noah, I know you mentioned about the teams that would obviously, and seeing these other teams, but think about it this way: you can potentially have a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves, with Anthony Edwards. If Memphis decides to hold on to Ja Morant, or better yet, Zion Williamson, those are two teams that potentially will go to the East,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because two
yeah,
teams are going to leave out of the West and go East.
yeah.
Now you put a Anthony Edwards in the Eastern
Easy.
Conference.
That'll be good for the sport.
And so now you're talking about
Yeah,
as guys like a Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum kind of, fade away, if you will, whatever, or, LeBron and stuff like that. Those guys close the door, and Steph and those guys. Now you're talking about a guy that's going to be a proven star that's coming over into that Eastern Conference. And now you have some talent. And look, if Zion figures it out, you're talking about now potentially having these two teams in the Eastern Conference, and now it makes the game a little bit better and stuff.
more
So
competitive. Yeah, that's what I
But
think. I think it's good for the
my
sport,
real
man.
question is, instead of adding new teams, why not just like similar to what has been done in the past, rebrand teams like the Brooklyn Nets or teams that's been struggling into a new franchise, into a new city, and see if you could turn
I
things
mean,
around from there.
It don't change the competitiveness, the competitive level. I feel like if you do that, what's the difference really?
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. Look, we all want more money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it
No
comes
such
down
thing as
to. More jobs, more tickets
yeah,
being
more
sold,
jobs, it's more money. But I
more
do get what
tickets.
you're saying about the fact is that it's been often talked about how difficult and challenging it is to find the games and where they're at. You know, if they're on
yeah,
streaming, if they're on NBC. I think with time, we'll get into a pattern and really just develop and knowing that these are certain days that you'll have these games and this is where you can find them. And then also the NBA League Pass itself. Guys, what are your closing thoughts? I'll start it off with you, Noah. What's your closing thought?
Lakers, number 18. We're going all the way this year. We got dominating down there. Last year we didn't have a center, but dominating is here to save
now,
the day.
now you bigging eating up, man. Oh man,
Uh, the Lakers are going all the way right into the draft, I guess, or summer league. No, uh, they will be a major player there, and definitely will be someone that you really have to make sure we have to focus on. Eddie, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, man. Boston Celtics all the way. UConn Huskies all the way, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
My final thought is really appreciate you guys giving up your time. I don't want to wait to the last minute or long after to do this. Definitely want to do this again because you know what? It's always a great, great thing to be able to sit down and talk basketball and sports. And that's kind of a precursor to life. If our world was able to have people share their thoughts and opinions, and if you could agree to disagree, you know what? The world would be a better place. But you know
Yes,
what?
sir.
Sports brings people together. And I really appreciate you guys for really joining me tonight. And we got to do this again.
For
Uh,
sure, for sure.
Definitely. Noah, hugs and hand pounds. You know what? You look real familiar. We might be related. We might be related.
Yeah, you look like me a little bit.
Yeah, I've been thinking that. We got to figure this out. For Noah, Eddie, I'm Gerald Brown. It's been the Bottom Line
Yes,
Sports
sir.
Show. Peace.